What's kicking, chickens? Old man coming at you in our next segment that's called Alphabet Soup. Alphabet Soup has to do with all the letters that are attached to us when we play this silly little game of softball. But it's mostly going to be about rankings, about who is at the top of the mountain and who is climbing and who's kind of hanging out at the bottom. We'll rank the top five teams in each division after each tournament and show you who's hot and who's snot. Now, we have different divisions here in Arkansas, and they kind of are, here's the options that you can play under. You have rec, E, D, C, B, A, double A, and then conference majors, whatever that's called. And so you have all those that are, out there, but here in Arkansas, for men's, you really have E, D, and C. That's where the most of the teams are. There are a couple of B's, but I don't know if you say they have their own division. So we have those three. And then in the ladies, kind of same way with E, and there may be a couple of E teams, but I'm not sure what the division is going to look like this year. But for the most part, all the action is in D and C. And so those are the ladies. And so we're going to be ranking all those categories after each weekend or every couple of weeks when there's movement. If it stays pretty stagnant, we'll just refer to it. But if not, we're going to list you here each and every week, the top five. And so that way you get a little shout out and get some team morale going. So again, if you don't know how you're ranked, it's real easy. A lot of you know that there are two categories when you look at your profile, especially in U-Trip. NCS hadn't played enough to really do anything over there yet, but we will include them when they get that all going and there's enough tournaments under your belt. But for the most part, we're talking about U-Trip, and there's power and there's points. Now, points are the easiest ones. You get points just for showing up. You get points if you get a bye. The most points come from coming in either third, second, or first. And so if you're part of that, it's kind of like horse racing, win, play, show. You're given points. So if you ever see a flyer that says, hey, double points or triple points, those can be beneficial because points, they're acknowledged nationally a lot, but for the most part, it's just where you're seated on the weekends. Your points rank us, and so your ranking is how you're seated in the next tournament or the sanctioned tournament. And so you have to look, and so if you're the number one, you get the top seed, which means you're going to have later game time. Getting everybody there on time becomes a lot easier. So that's the reason I kind of was a point chaser in E, but we always end up with those later games. And so that's really the benefits of points. Now, power is completely different. It has a weird formula I haven't quite figured out yet, but I know that's where bumps come from. The last 2 years, when we got bumped from E to D and then D to C, it was because we were in that threshold of who was going in our power rankings. And so I think that's more of your quality wins. If you beat somebody that's seated higher you or maybe even a class above you, that helps your power. If you lose to the new team on the block, that brings your power down. And so that's where that is. And you don't move a lot after about a couple months in. That's kind of, unless there's some big wins or somebody comes in from out of state, when we just kind of beat up on each other, power just kind of fluctuates and we stay kind of there in that cluster. But that's power, so they're important. Wins are important for that. And so those are the way you're ranked, and I'll make sure to note when there's a difference that you're here on one and here on the other, so that way everybody knows what you're doing. And so that is Alphabet Soup. I hope that's been a little informative about classes and chip status, and we're going to get more into that as the episodes progress. But that's all we got for today, so hope to see you all at the field.